Hello, my brethren. I hope you're all well. This story is going to be a difficult one to produce because of the difficulty of the subject, but I never shy away from this subject, so I will try my best to include, to the best of my abilities, the message from this story. After the suicide hangout with the rest of the producers, it took me some time to recover. I think it was probably not just me that felt very heavy afterwards. I'm assuming a lot of the producers and a lot of the viewers were probably slightly distressed about it as well. I tried to delay making this video for about a week because I felt it was a bit too heavy in the current climate in MGTOW, but I believe this story needs to be heard. Before I start, I'm removing specifics from the story because I want to preserve the anonymity of this person. I will purposefully sound vague at times because I think it's important to respect people's anonymity in the light of the stories that they are sharing. So the story starts. I was born with a severely disabling genetic condition and was later diagnosed with high-functioning autism. So I have been through the medical system and had some problems with it. I'm not sure why I have these medical problems, but as far as I can tell, this was inherited from my mother's side. I do not even know how to bring up that subject with her at all in all my 30 years of life. The medical system is one part of the control matrix of society. As I concluded, most doctors do not cure, they treat, and you're absolutely right on that. Since the staff are part of the monetary control matrix, everyone there would have less money if they did not get the big handouts from drug companies and government regulations on how they should treat diseases. My experience with the doctors treating me had very dire, horrible experiences and very few good treatment experiences. I have had female nurses break veins during blood draw. I have seen them have unprofessional behavior during some embarrassing examinations. I have nurses proposition me, and I have had toxic test drugs and drugs prescribed to me that have weakened me to the point where I lost my ability to walk for 2 years. There's not a lot of money for this condition either. I had to wait for the project leader to collect funding in order to run some necessary blood tests. My parents' reaction to my deteriorating condition was semi-normal compared to others. They would take me to the so-called professional people in smocks and white coats. They would listen to them like they were talking to the gods, and as if those doctors' opinion were the gospel. They would try to challenge me to do activities that they were supposed to be for my own good, and downplay it if it caused me any pain. They would downplay my weakness if I was in group activities or failed to do something as well. However, this changed when my brothers were born with no medical problems. I saw my family focus all their energy and attention into those two. My parents went back to work as soon as all of the children were sent off to another dangerous part of the matrix, the public school system. The public school system is now your daytime parent, and your parental parents will be your after-school parents. I was placed in normal class even though I had learning and physical problems. I also looked sickly and weaker than my classmates, but could fit in with the crowd. Soon the subsocial caste began to form, starting third term of primary school. I still did not have any real noticeable disability to them, and to them I just looked thin and was placed in a smaller social group, but could still keep up with everyone academically. Some people would be pairing off as couples, and what they did I saw as completely uninteresting, and what I normally did at school was that I spent as much time as I could in the computer lab playing Oregon Trail and other early PC games that they had. However, soon I could not keep up with, and the physical signs were becoming quite apparent. I was struggling in school. The school board refused to help me at all. They said he's not disabled, in other words. He's not worth spending any extra money to help. I later found out that the evaluation team from the school that voted on this was actually formed of 4 women and 1 man. We had 2 options, private school or fight for the public school system to change. I wanted to go to private school, but no, I was told that I needed to go to public school and use the other kids as some sort of social safety net. In the end, I realized I did not even have a choice on the matter, and my mom had already decided for me since she went to public school, so she was already decided that, my boy is actually going to public school. So she brought in the team of doctors and lawyers, and finally the board voted to place me in special education. Special education. Whoa, that was a bad idea. Now, in middle school, I now got the so-called special education. I found not to be special, and the special education was actually not helpful at all. It was just a period of doing nothing, with two women there to help you if you needed help with homework or whatever else. I was now the smartest person in the special education group, and many other kids had a lot more severe physical and health problems than me at the time. I simply read science fiction books, and the only help they actually gave me was to place me with the other handicapped outcast, a dumbed down version of PE, and someone to take notes for me in other classes. Smaller social circle, and in truth, that's when the true forced loneliness began to really affect me. It already had, but it was consciously stronger now. I now had the same shame and teasing of the truly lowest of people that can't even help themselves or even understand what's happening to them. There was this one girl of our age that always tried to be over where our group was during free time. I did not know why, and then she started giving me attention. She invited me to a party at one of my friends from primary school. The girls there had to be the center of attention all the time. I was catching up with my old friend, and then one of them said it was time for some group activities. I only knew 3 people there and did not pay attention to anyone else. They did the whole truth or dare game, and I did not want to play or hear about their relationships. I sat to the side, and one of the girls that had the slutty party girl attitude actually handcuffed me to her. My friend was like, alright, and I did not know what to do about it. I was soon dragged around by this girl, and she did not really try to get to know me or understand me. And near the end of the party, she simply uncuffed me, and I never saw her again. High school got a bit better, since there were more physically disabled guys in my special education class and could hold a conversation with them. I quickly became friends with another person that had cerebral palsy. He is what they called an AP, what they call an advanced placement. For some reason, this guy seemed to have a lot of friends. The friend with cerebral palsy helped me a bit, but I still had my own problems to deal with. Problems to do with my physical health, mental health, and one suicide attempt that only myself and my parents know about. I just simply stopped taking my diabetes medication that kept me alive. I was tired of having to live with this condition and not always being able to do certain things because my abilities were so limited. My cerebral palsy friend started inviting me to his social circles, and I could never figure out why, but there was always a bunch of girls there. Why were they all over him, and why does he have the so-called popular people around him all the time? I simply could not understand. He can't move well and he's super smart, but there I was, able to move a little bit better, and I was not able to compete with him. Turns out, only his legs are actually disabled, nothing else apparently is, and I'm here suffering in silence for years with biological mutations and brain damage. As I became his best friend, the girls started to give me attention as well. They were after my friend with cerebral palsy, but I also happened to be there as well. There were the so-called nerdy girls and rich white girls, but I could never understand why they were so nice to me. I would not even know the proper response if they were using any of their tricks or tried to initiate some sort of peer bonding ritual. I was set up and did not realize until recently after researching female behavior and MGTOW theories. I got the PT dates and the PT attention. I got set up with one of the less popular ones, and she was not bad looking but was quite underweight just like I was. It was okay for a few weeks, but then she moved on. Her reason was that I was too nice, and she said that she needed someone else who was less nice than me. I admit it was my first girlfriend, and I may have showed too much affection or tried to get her to help me heal emotionally. After the breakup, my cerebral palsy friend was like, "Dude, I told you not to show too much affection to her." That was actually my first time of ever hearing that. Then my friend intentionally set me up with another girl, again. He had some of the girls from high school at his house, and we were playing a role-playing game like D&D, and the game master put my character in the tavern with another player that was female. I chose for my character to have hideous looks so I could get more perks. Anyway, he had the barmaids interact with my character, and they made fun of my character, and the female player that had her character with me said that she was interested in a relationship. I was like, okay, but she did not mean just in the game. She came to the real-life date with her sister. I spent more time talking to her sister, and the whole thing only lasted for about 2 weeks. She did not even give me a reason, other than that she was simply not interested. I already had given up on interacting with females on a peer bonding relationship level, but my friend gave me hope, and that messed up with my judgment. I went back to the hospital, and this time a doctor there claimed that there was hope with this new experimental drug that he could provide for me. I took it and died for a short period of time. That event caused me permanent damage. I lost my ability to walk, I lost my ability to feel due to nerve damage, and it may have caused me even more brain damage, and I was a lot worse once again. I did not want to eat, I did not want to see anyone, and thought a lot about suicide again. I almost went through with it, but I did not, just out of fear of the unknown. I had no one to talk to that would listen to the level that I needed. It was just your lot in life and stuff. Here, it's a group that you can talk to, and here are some drugs. However, through time, I was able to control the pain to just a dull feeling, but it's always in the back of my mind. Today, I observe human behavior and see it as some sort of interspecies interaction. My cerebral palsy friend got married, and I see some of the tricks that his wife uses to manipulate him out of his money and change his behavior. It makes me mad that unless my friend and I are alone, we can't have an interesting conversation. She only wants to talk about her and how the subject affects her. She thinks she's all important and that she's a special education teacher or something. I get very uncomfortable around their public display of affection. I mean, if you're going to do that, then simply don't invite me over. It's probably some sort of validation of her existence, I guess. Or it's just simply her using her body to modify behavior in her current environment. I really don't know. Today, I have no interest in any male-female mating, pure bonding relationship kind of thing. I don't even think about it, and find that meditation to be the only thing that assists me when I can't consciously control my depression or thoughts about the futility of my medical situation. There's actually a machine attached to me that I have to change the bioconnection every couple of days, and that's the machine that keeps me alive. I still to this day do not respond to what people call normal human interaction, and I find to be quite different to what normal humans are and how normal humans behave with each other. Thank you a lot for your videos and advice. So that was the story, guys. First of all, thank you very much for your story. I will forever be grateful for this story. I believe you know that I am a medical professional, and although I left out what the condition is, I want you to understand that I personally understand what the condition is and what its implications are long term. And I'm going to leave it at that. All I'm going to say is that I'm really sorry, and I wish there was any way that I could help. And I think the best thing is now that you're 30 years of age, like you say, to take control over your own life. Live it as you would like for as long as you can. It is after all your life and no one else's. And I want you to be a bit more selfish in a manner of speaking. Speak your mind, say the truth, and live life regret-free. This is a very shitty hand that you have been dealt with, and I'm sure you know it a lot better than I do. All I want is for you to live this life the best that you can. And I'm not going to say any more on this because I'm not going to even presume I can empathize with your situation, because I hate coming across as patronizing. I will talk to you as a brother, and I will address your story as a brother would. Nothing more and nothing less. But I want you to know that you have my utmost respect for coming out and sharing this story with me. I will be forever grateful for this moment. I'm going to talk about the rest of your story now, and I will move away from your medical situation, because I think you've heard it all before with regards to that. Yes, my brother, you're right about all of your observations. You were probably being too nice to the women because, you were genuinely interested in them. You went full-heartedly into these relationships because that's how you thought things should be. Be all giving and accepting and sharing with your presumed person, let's say, your weakness and your emotions. You're right in saying that a lot of the MGTOWs have noticed this about female behavior. It talks directly on hypergamy and how these females were actually preying on you to receive attention from other people. When there is no one around, you see, acting like the nice person you want people to see you as is not as rewarding as some people might think. And you're right that at times they were probably taking pity on you. I'm not going to lie about it because I don't want to sugarcoat the truth. I think you were probably taking pity or feeling sad, let's say, about your situation as well. Your friend with cerebral palsy was outgoing and, by the sounds of things, always the life of the party. But you should not compare yourself to him. You're not him, and your character and physical abilities are probably different. You see, cerebral palsy you're born with. You don't develop it, as you probably develop your symptoms later on in life. You learn to live with it, and children born with this condition in its milder form do not know any world different than the world that they experience since birth. Now, it's still disabling. It still causes problem, but most children without any brain damage affecting their emotional, sensory and thinking centers of the brain go on to be just fine and live very rewarding lives. Your situation is very different, and I know that humans have this constant need of comparing ourselves with others. After all, you're male and there's a constant need for competition, but there is no point in competition at this point. I want you to detach yourself from that perception of the world. There is no more vision of you compared to others. There is you in you. Understand your limitations in your current state and aim for greater things. Aim to do more. Develop your mind. You have a staggering observational ability and an excellent logical thinking. The way that you wrote to me really introduced me into your world, and I'm not sugarcoating the truth because you're my brother and I will say it as it is. Happiness never comes from the presence of women. It comes from the presence that you find within yourself, within your own limitations. Limitations that can sometimes be, like you describe, also physical. However, goals and aims give meaning to your life. Your story should not be that of someone that came and lived in passing. Give it meaning and give it reason. Your happiness will never come from women. You know that. We all know that. Don't allow them, now that you know their nature, to take advantage of you any further. Some of them will care for you genuinely, but the majority of them will use you. And that goes for some of the men as well. To anyone listening to this video, please like, share, and share. Share with others. Get the story heard. And to you, my friend, you can always contact me. You got my email. Please send me an email anytime. Add me on Hangouts and fucking message me any fucking time. If you feel the going gets too thick, I will get you 10 MGTOWs talking to you within minutes. Please stay safe. Your story and your existence matters. It really does matter. Thank you all for listening. This was Nick Huchowski talking about all things man. Please like, share, and again share this video.